Post on Facebook, public, and then we'll go. And then we're off to the races.
Do it.
Good morning, fellas.
We are live right now. There we go. Public.
Okay. Good morning.
All right. So here's there's no real pause. We're just live. So welcome to this edition of the Fantasy Focus live show brought to you by the Original Hooters. I'm Derek Tate alongside Ryan Levy and Matt Bucks. So I think we're all back at home base. Last week, you guys were at your respective Hooters home base, but This week we're all recording from home, all cozy. It's a little cold up here in Cadillac, Michigan. How you doing, boys?
I am doing great. Happy to be back home in California. I've got my Hooters calendar above my shoulder. If you can see that, giving a hoot here in Cali. Bucky, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. It was the first jacket day in terms of waking up and exiting the house and realizing, wow, it's time to put on this beautiful Spurs jacket because we got business to attend to today. 11:30 kickoff for Spurs. So bit preoccupied, obviously, mentally. I'm very nervous, but I'm excited to talk some fantasy football, all studied up, ready to give the answers that the people clamor for.
And you got to stay focused on the live show, baby. That's destination number one. I know you're a Tottenham Hotspur fan, so
yeah, don't worry about me, Tate. I handle my business.
Right now. So I'm not going to micromanage you, I promise. So here we go, though. We have a game going on right now. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans over across the pond. Weird 9:30 kickoff. It was a daylight savings time. I believe it jumped forward. Or no, fell back an hour. Excuse me.
Correct.
So we enjoyed that extra hour at the bar yesterday, or an extra hour of sleep in my case. But D.D. Westbrook was out, so if you got screwed in that way, sorry, that's a tough one to take if you slept in today. But other inactives, James Conner and Benny Snell are – well, Conner's listed as doubtful. I don't think he's going to go today. Benny Snell, knee surgery, he's out. So it looks like Jalen Samuels is going to get the start and likely a ton of work, maybe Trace Edmonds sprinkled in here and there. Brandon Cooks also is not going to be playing today.
Same Trey Edmonds?
Trey Edmonds, that's it.
Yeah, it's easy. There's too many Edmonds in the kitchen.
Did I say Chase Edmonds?
Yeah. You did. Too many fantasy relevant Edmondses.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, we got Brandon Cooks. Speaking of Cooks in the kitchen, Cooks is out. And then we got T.Y. Hilton. Hilton's out as well. So, I mean, those are just some of the inactives that have been that are kind of up to date up to this point. Now, keep an eye on Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, James White, Deshaun Jackson, and Hollywood Brown. They are all questionable, expected to play, but likely they're going to give it a go in pregame warmups. So just keep an eye on them to see if they're active or not. Other than that, what else do we want to talk about for week 9 of fantasy football, boys?
I got to tell you, it was awesome waking up at 6:15 a.m. this morning and watching football in bed Pacific time. That was interesting for me.
I always hated that when I was out there, to be honest with you. Because I'm a big get stuff done in the morning guy. And when the football just starts as soon as the day breaks, you're shot. Like I remember the Bills played a London game when I was out there. I was in the doghouse for a week after that. Like they wake up, they come downstairs, and there I am cracking beers. It's 6:45 in the morning, screaming at my computer. It wasn't a good scene, man. It wasn't a good scene. So I know you got a good relationship with your wife, so I think she understands it. But mine wasn't so nice about
it. Yeah, I like it though. I dig it. You know, I had my coffee in bed and all that. But we got our first question, boys.
Starting early here. So EXE, thanks for joining us. Sony Michel or Melvin Gordon today in a half-point PPR?
Gord piece.
You know I love me some Sony Michel, but I'm going Gordon in this scenario. Chargers stink though. I got to tell you, man.
They're rough. They're rough to watch. There must be a lot of problems at the Rivers household with all those kids. It's finally catching up to them, losing hair at a rapid rate.
Does it make you feel good about Ken Wisenhunt being canned?
No.
Doesn't make you feel any better?
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't give you the fuzzies.
Yeah, usually people getting fired doesn't really just give me the warm and fuzzies. Like, ooh, everything's going to be straightened out now. It's usually not the case.
I'm not expecting James White. I think he'll be active tonight, even with him a little nicked up. I still expect Sony Michel to be the leading ball carrier by a landslide, and I don't know. I feel like Bill Belichick's got something up his sleeve against Lamar Jackson tonight. So I feel we're going to see plenty of Sony Michel. I trust Michel and his workload at this point more so than the out of sorts offense that we've seen so far this season in Los Angeles. So I'm going to go with Sony Michel in this one.
I'm only going Gordon just because I think it's going to be more touches. Like, I think Gordon has 18 touches in this game. So I'm going to stick with the script for old Bucky, which is requisite touches.
Fair enough. So we already mentioned some other inactives before we start getting a couple other questions. Of course, hit us in the comment section with your questions about who you should start, sit, etc. heading into your fantasy football matchups today.
Or just heap me with praise. Either way. Either way, I've been picking them right all year.
Whatever floats your boat. As far as other guys, like we mentioned already, Jalen Samuels is probably the guy that's a dud to go pick up right now. But is there any love for any other of these inactives like Brandon Cooks, T.Y. Hilton? Are there any receivers that we should go pick up that are kind of sneaky under the radar, on the fly, plug and play type guys today with their injuries?
Who do you guys like in Indy?
Pascal.
Zach Pascal, the Zach attack.
Or is it going to be a big tight end day? Are we leaning on these tight ends this week?
I like Doyle piece. I think Jackie Doyle's going to hit a seam today. Actually, I would. You guys want to bet he has a 20+ yard seamer?
It has to be 20 plus. I'll put a 20 spot on him not catching a 20-yard seamer.
But does it have to be a seamer?
You said seamer.
20-yard catch or a 20-yard seamer?
Yeah, I think it has to be a seamer. I'll put 5 on it, Tate. I'll put $5 on a 20-yard seamer.
20+ yard seam route.
No one runs the seam like Jack Doyle. No one.
So we've got a $5 bid for Jackie Doyle catching a 20-yard seam route.
This is the best bet we've had on this show. How are the Browns doing, Levy?
Well, if you listen to the Bet the Over podcast, episode 17 this week, Mr. Springs laid out the plan for the Brownies to win 9 games this year. It is looking great. The Denver Broncos today are starting a practice squad quarterback.
Mr. Brandon Allen, put some respect on that name.
This is when it happens. This is when it starts today. Cleveland gets rolling today, boys. Lock of the century. Put it all on the line. Cleveland rolls today.
So I expect that $50 to be Venmo'd immediately following this game, by the way. Because they're dropping to 2-6, pal.
No way, dude. Here we go. 9-7. Here it comes.
They're going to rattle off a ton of victories. Yeah, okay. Sure. You're delusional, pal. You're delusional. Shane King, speaking to someone not delusional. Good morning, gentlemen. He's either got to start Eckler or Shepard in his flex. So assuming, Shane, thanks for joining us, by the way, that this is probably a PPR format. I'm still going to go Ekpiece. I don't know about that, actually.
I'm going Eckler without question if it's PPR.
Yeah, I'm going Eckler. I can't start Sterling Shepard at this point. However, I think he does have a decent game against Dallas. Like, I like both of these options for fantasy purposes, but I'm going to lean towards Eckler because he's just been there on the PPR front all year long.
I just personally see Green Bay rolling the Chargers today. And Chargers are going to be playing from behind. They're a slow starting team. There's no denying that. Tate seems very confused by that, but I don't know. You must be watching a different Chargers team than me.
Well, we haven't seen them get rolled very much this year. It's just they keep losing heartbreaker after heartbreaker after heartbreaker.
Or winning close ones, I guess. But they find themselves down quickly.
You say heartbreaker, all I think about is Mariah Carey in that music video.
I don't know which music video you're talking about.
Heartbreaker music guy.
Yeah, Heartbreaker.
Huh.
That's the music video.
Is that it?
Yeah, dude, Heartbreaker.
I didn't even know that was the song that she's on.
But I just keep on coming back incessantly.
Yeah.
Why did you have to run your game on me? I should have known right from the start. You were bound to break my heart.
Bucky just knows all the words.
Apparently I do too, but I just didn't know that was the name of the song.
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
shout out early 2000s Mariah.
Tate, you wait. We didn't officially answer this question, did we? I'm going Eckler. Tate, are you going Eckler or Shepard?
I thought about it a little bit, but I am going to stick with Eckler.
All right, so when we think it, we say it.
Yes.
So go with the gut. Go with the initial gut reaction, which was the Ekpiece.
Yeah, let's go with Eckler there, King. Thanks for joining, man.
Mark DeAngelis, Chubb. 275 yards from scrimmage.
For the rest of the year, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not happening today. Denver's defense is still respectable.
Yeah, I think he'll have a good game today, but not 275 is a little aggressive. Jose Vega, thanks for joining us again. Jimmy Graham or Mark Andrews in a full point PPR. Hard to say this, but I actually feel like Jimmy Graham isn't a terrible option, given that I do expect the Packers to win today. And Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur have gotten on the same page. I mean, as much as I was a little concerned that this offense was not operating at full capacity. I mean, he's had 2 great games in a row without the services of Devontae Adams. He seems to be cooking on all cylinders. Andrews and that on the flip side, terrible matchup today for Mark Andrews going against the New England Patriots secondary.
Yeah, for me, it's still Andrews. I hate the matchup, but I just don't want to bench Mark Andrews. I think he's a great player. He's the better talent at this point of their careers.
100%, yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But I do like the Jimmy Graham matchup, but I'm still going Andrews if I got him.
I'm siding with Tate. Believe it or not, we're breaking history here. I'm siding with Tate for once in my life. I think Jimmy Graham is the better matchup. I want to stay away from a New England linebacking core that has basically neutralized all tight ends in their path. So I'm going to stay away, despite the fact that I think Mark Andrews is a much better player at this stage in their respective careers. I'm not playing him against the Patriots. It's a black hole for fantasy points. Now watch him go out and get four catches for 80 yards and a touchdown. That could happen, sure, but chances are not that high on it. And I think the upside on a touchdown for Graham is a bit higher than it is for Andrews. So it's a tough situation, but I think Andrews just gets shut down.
Yeah, I just think there's better days ahead for Mark St. Andrews. So I'm going to go ahead and steer clear of if I can avoid a New England matchup at any given point, I always will. So that's how well they're playing this year.
My island.
This is my island. Yes. BG, Jordan Howard or Mark Ingram. Thanks for joining us, bud. It's the same kind of argument.
Yes.
Because we're looking at Mark Ingram, who's been the better player all season long, better offense, better situation, but I hate that matchup against New England. Howard's been playing well. I mean, hasn't wowed you in any specific game, but he's been efficient and been getting touches. All that being said, I'm going Ingram. I'm not the running back one.
Tay, you're gonna get too bad our boys not here to call you out on that.
Per episode. That's my one Dan Orlovsky per episode.
I don't love the matchup for Jordan Howard either. I mean, I guess you can call it a revenge game going against his former team, but the Bears, I feel like, are actually going to win this game today. A wounded dog is a scary dog.
The Eagles are putting it together. They just beat a solid Bills team. I should never say the Bills are really
good. Solid Bills defense. I don't know about team.
Hey, bud, lay off.
Hey, I call it how I see it, pal.
Hey, 6-2. We're on the road.
I'm telling you, Bears are going to win today, boys. Bears are winning.
No, I see the Eagles are pulling this out.
What signs of hope have you seen from the Bears to make you think that they're
Listen, they should have won last week.
Sure.
Comes down to the kicking once again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Pinedo made 3 field goals in the first half because they had 3 goal-to-go situations inside the 10. They couldn't find the end zone against a Chargers team that is practically 6 feet under for this season.
I understand, but if we're still talking about matchups here, it's not like Jordan Howard has a juicy matchup. The Bears defense is still pretty respectable.
Hence why I'm going with Ingram.
All right. All right. So we're on the same page. I'm going Ingram too.
We are, but what are you doing? You're insane. You think that the Bears are going to win today. That's madness.
I'm going to go Jordan Howard. He gets a touchdown again today. You said you go with the RB1. Look at the touch counts over the last 3 or 4 games, Tate.
Oh, he's up there.
Jordan Howard's getting the ball. Wait a second.
Levy. Join us, Levy.
Levy, that was a bad dab, man.
This is my first attempt ever.
Yeah. Dab Wizard, always good to see you back. Zeke or Melvin, me live Gordon? Melvin. I'm gonna go Zeke, believe it or not.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, but I'm going Zeke too.
I'm going Zeke. All right, so yeah, we can.
I have no additional thoughts.
Away from Melvin Gordon. When you
I'm
have
just
Zeke
glad
as
Dab
your,
brought a question. Dab
is
line
just
up the questions.
he's flexing on us, man. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to throw you guys a question, a pity question, because my team is so good.
Yeah, that is a pity question. Like, yeah, he knows he's going to start. Even if we all made a compelling case for Melvin Gordon today, there's no shot in hell he's setting him for when you got Zeke. So anyway, Braden Robertson, thank you for joining us. Michael Gallup or Devontae Adams today in a standard format. Does that toe injury scare you guys for Devontae?
It does.
Yes. Scares me a lot.
It does. I mean, we don't even know if he's fully active today. He's expected to play, but let's just assume for this, sake of the question, I'm going to go Adams if he's active. I'm going Adams if he's active, though.
Well, the good news is this: he can weigh this out, right? With Dallas playing the 8:15 game, and then you have Green Bay playing 4:25.
Right.
So he can weigh this out. If Devontae Adams is a go, I still question the injury. I've seen it too many times this year, like 3 or 4 times, players going out there testing it and getting pulled immediately. But like, I'm not going to sit Devontae Adams, who's a top 5 receiver, for a fringe wide receiver 2 and Michael Gallup. So
I'm with you, Buck.
Yeah. So if he's sitting, I think Gallup is a fine replacement in that situation. Throw him in there.
Levy,
Adams.
you looks like you want to touch my board.
I'm not touching.
You look very tempted to do so.
I'm getting the mild, medium, and hot picks ready. So you are in full control, sir.
Okay.
We all know whose board it is. It's my board.
We all know who's in control here. Oh boy! Shout out Damo, morning Yinzers, Flex PPR, Cortland Sutton, David Montgomery, or Terry McLaurin, the Terrier. Levy, not Scary Terry. You say that, I'll slap you verbally.
Give me Montgomery here. I think last week was just the jumping off point, and I think Nagy has to make sure that he gets the ball in his hands. So it's Montgomery for me. McLaurin probably matched up against Trey White, so that's a shutdown situation there. And then Brandon, the dishwasher, Allen, starting at quarterback there. Cortland Sutton does not really breed. Yeah, wax on, wax off.
Yeah, I'm going Monty as well. I mean, I pretty much have the same exact analysis as you. I don't love the matchup for Mr. Terry. I won't call him Scary Terry, Derek.
Thank you.
Don't love the QB situation for Sutton, so I'm going Monty. Hopefully they continue to feed him the ball.
Yeah, I think they should build off of what was the most effective part of their offense last week, which was feeding the ball to David Montgomery. I really hope that Matt Nagy stops getting so cute. I mean, when you have a quarterback that's struggling, hand the ball to a talented running back. And they finally made a commitment to give him the football. He had I think his best fantasy week. I know he had one other, solid game, but look for the Bears to kind of play small ball. Hand the ball to Montgomery, establish the run, lean on that defense if they want to try to make any sort of playoff push down the stretch. For me, easy Montgomery. BG, by the way, I know I'm playing you today in the Listeners League. Mm-hmm. So I'm just I wanted to create doubt because I wanted to use my one Dan Orlovsky on Mark Ingram and Jordan Howard. But, there you go. Go Birds. A lot of Eagles fans in here today.
Go Birds. You got to say it like they do up there in Philly. Go Birds.
Is that how a Philly accent actually is? I always thought the Philly accent was represented by Rocky Balboa.
Go Birds.
Dab Wizard.
I'll let them weigh in, but I think I had it there.
Pretty good. We have an offbeat question as we're all caught up on fantasy questions.
I'm in on this. Hold on. So the question here, Braden, is preposterous. Okay. Pizza Hut pizza, very low on my echelon of pizzas. Buffalo Wild Wings is as low as you could possibly get on the wing spectrum. Sir, find yourself a local original Hooters. Go in there, ask for 10 hot wings. I like the originals, but if you like Daytona style, also a very tangible option. Okay. Very good. They put a little singe on the grill. Delicious. But Hooters, 10 out of 10. Buffalo Wild Wings, like a 1 out of 10. And that's no bias. Like, straight up, well before we partnered with Hooters, I was sitting on this soapbox preaching. Hooters is the superior wing offering every time. Now, Pizza Hut, no. Just no. Find a local pizzeria. Get something different, Braden. And I'm not criticizing you. I'm trying to teach you. Hooters for wings is the top choice. Secondary to that, find a New York style pizza joint. that really makes their own dough, and it's not some frozen disc that they just throw a little bit of slop on, put it in a little microwave oven that it's basically a conveyor belt. Get away from that. You don't need that. You deserve better, Brady. You deserve better.
Listen,
Hooters.
I'll eat a big dinner box all day.
I was going to say, what about the dinner box? I mean, I understand that it's not the most complex way of making a pizza, and it's certainly not perfected over there at the Hut. But those big dinner boxes, I'll get in on those every now and then, man. I mean, come on.
We've all seen me throw some damage in on a BDB. Let's
Real
be
quick,
honest.
I'd rather have
dinner box.
I'd rather have Pizza Hut's wings than Buffalo Wild Wings, though. But obviously, I'm going to take Hooters over everything. So
yeah, that's fair. But yeah, find a Hooters, Braden, for real, because Hooters is. Oh, I love Hooters. I miss it right now, to be honest with you.
I really want the naked wingy that. Oh, and then throw on that 007 sauce.
Tate, how much are you looking forward to week 16 so you can like sit down at a Hooters and just crush?
I don't know how to put it into words, how tough it is to witness it live when I'm looking at you guys on site at Hooters, and you guys are just, interacting with a nice live crowd. Of course, you got the fantastic service of the Hooters gals that are, loading you up with beer and wingy, and I'm not able to partake. It crushes my soul. So the fact that we could start plugging the Week 16 Championship Week show over at the Hooters on 4th Street in St. Petersburg, Florida, guys, I'm coming in hot. I may have to try to top my 25 winging performance from last year, as long as I bring a towel and maybe take a cold shower afterwards.
They'll shower you down there.
I'm not gonna lie.
There's a hose out back, Tate. There is a hose. We can utilize that.
Just somebody bring a pitcher of ice water after I get done. Just dump it on my head.
All right,
outside, of course, we don't want to have to clean it up inside.
We got another question here from Will Hayes. Really need your opinion. Should I start Josh Allen or Kirk Cousins? PPR 6 points to quarterback. I mean, PPR is irrelevant here, but 6 points on the touchdown side. That's a good question. This is a good question, Tate. What are you thinking here for Will?
Kirk Cousins has been playing pretty good football. I know that he didn't put up very good numbers without Adam Thielen against the Washington Redskins on Thursday Night Football about a week and a half ago. But I'm still going to go with Kirk Cousins. Dude, Josh Allen, it's maddening with Josh Allen. I mean, I know that he has the capability to be able to put up nice rushing totals, but I think he's really struggling, going through his progressions and making accurate throws on a consistent basis, which was kind of the knock on him when he came into the NFL. He's inconsistent. So right now I feel like I can trust what Kirk Cousins has done over the last month or so of football. So especially if he gets Adam Thielen back today, then I'm loving it. And it's Kirk Cousins without a second thought.
The Bills love to just play down to their competition, and there's plenty of fight in the Redskins. We saw that against Minnesota. They're not just rolling over. Yeah, they stink.
No, they're not.
They're fighting. They are fighting. So I'm going Kirk Cousins. I love the way he's throwing the rock lately, and that run game is strong to back it up.
Josh Allen 3 total touchdowns today. It's Josh Allen.
All right.
I mean, we've seen Josh Allen disappoint with cupcake matchups, though. That's the thing. Levy hit the nail on the head when it comes to they play down to their competition. So I expect this to be a 17-13 mess, where the Bills defense does all the heavy lifting.
You know what, Tate? I've also seen a few startling things in my day. I've seen a dog be able to go and get a beer out of the fridge. I need to get me one of those.
Sadie.
Yeah.
Hey, hear me.
Miller Lite, por favor. And then it just goes, runs.
Oh, Sadie
so
actually
happy.
came walking over. She just doesn't know how to go fetch a beer.
Well, you got to train him. Train him up.
She's a good puppy. But anyway, point is.
So yeah, the panel likes Kirk Cousins over Allen, and I understand why. And honestly, I think it's a good decision to have to make. It's a valid question.
Corey Katcha, thank you for joining us. I don't know why I threw in the accent. Sit one: Walton, Carson, Mack, or Samuels. It's got to be, for me, it's Walton. It's easy. I still don't trust the Miami Dolphins, even though I know that they traded away Kenyon Drake. I know that the volume has been there as far as seeing at least 10 carries, I think, the last 3 weeks. If I'm not mistaken, you go ahead and fact check me on that because I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. But Mark Walton certainly is worth being in this conversation, but I think Mack and Carson are automatic starts, and I like Samuels in spot start duty more so than Mark Walton.
This is tough. I think the Bucs are probably going to shut down Chris Carson because they've been shutting down everyone in terms of the run game anyway. Love Mack in terms of the opportunities continuing. So for me, it's between Samuels and Walton, and I'm going to start Samuels. But I do like Walton. I think it's a good matchup for him this week. This is a tough decision, actually. But I
like Walton, Mack, Samuels, so I'm sitting Carson, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, okay. Yeah, I mean, as far as when you look at the numbers, it makes sense.
You know what? I take that back because Balaj is still going to get those goal line touches. So cross Walton off the list. He might get the bulk of the carries there, but when it comes time for the red zone, he's not involved. So, yeah, Carson, Mack, Samuel. Sorry to go back on my word there.
Nothing like vulturing the very few scoring opportunities for the Dolphins offense. Kalen Balaj. Jeez. All right. We got TS. What up? Thank you for joining us. Thielen or Tyrell Williams for a wide receiver 2, and Eckler or Jalen Samuels for the flex. Kind of interesting on these two options. I saw Tyrell Williams play last week, so I'm going with Tyrell, even if Adam Thielen is active this week. And then for the running back spot for flex, I'm going to go ahead and go with Jalen Samuels. I feel like he is the only option really left there in Pittsburgh right now in the backfield. So for that reason, I'm going Samuels over Eckler.
I will go Samuels over Eckler. And if Thielen's a go, I'm still going to go with Thielen. I kind of like this matchup. I expect 3 touchdowns from Captain Kirk today.
I like Thielen. I like Samuels.
The kiss stealing. Woo! Wheeling Thielen. Son of a gun. Limousine riding, jet flying. You know, I just can't keep these alligators down. Braden Robertson again. What should my mom make for supper? Ma, the meatloaf.
No, beef stroganoff. Fine option. Very simple to put together. I got a great crock pot recipe. All you got to do is you got to have about 5 hours. So she needs to start prepping it right now. And once she gets it prepping, the work's done. Okay, you get some sirloin, 2 pounds. Then you got to go out, get some golden mushroom soup from Campbell's, condensed, of course. Fresh pack of mushrooms, 1 onion, chop an onion, throw it in there with some garlic. You're going to need 2 cloves of garlic. Get that sauteing with the sirloin strips. Then you go and you dump that into the larger pot. Let it go for, I don't know, a good 4 or 5 hours. Then you dump in a little cream cheese, a little sour cream. Let that sit together, really blend. And you got yourself beef stroganoff served over egg noodles. There you go, Braden.
The obvious answer here, we've got a great Sunday night football matchup. It's New England clam chowder. That's what mom needs to make tonight.
The red or the white?
I don't know. I don't even like that stuff. I'm just saying.
Hey, you were over there shaking your
Ventura.
Yeah, it's Ace Ventura. It's the white, by the way.
Never remember that.
You were shaking your head over my beef stroganoff recommendation, and it seemed like you didn't like my recipe.
Well, because I just think that's making mom do way too much work.
No, it's very simple. Couldn't be simpler.
You know what's simpler? Pizza rolls.
Yeah. It's a Tate staple.
I love pizza rolls. I got to be honest.
I got a new roommate not too long ago. Shout out Wyatt. Work with him over at the TV station, and I came home from karaoke after a little bit of a bender, and the guy had made the mistake of leaving pizza rolls unattended in a common area, which is known as the fridge. And I went ahead and housed those things, ended up having to go and buy the man not only one replacement, but an extra one for the lack of dishonor on that. That was bad.
I will say going into the fridge and eating it is totally different than if you come home and they're sitting out on top of the stove. Then it's free game, in my opinion.
Wait a second. So he didn't finish the pizza rolls? He put them in the fridge?
I did. No. They were just an unopened pack.
Oh, unopened. So free game.
Whoa,
no, he did
wait
nothing.
a second. That
he
is
did nothing. He
dishonorable.
did nothing to tempt me. He did nothing to tempt me. It was my alter ego that came home and was really hungry. It's apparently went ahead and said, "I'm stealing someone else's food," and went ahead and housed an entire 50 set.
Oh, wait a second. You housed 50 pizza rolls?
Yes, in one sitting.
Man, that's the family size week pack. Like that's for 2 meals for an entire family.
Did your legs go numb on the toilet the next morning? I mean, that sounds like a recipe for numbness of the
Wasn't
legs.
numb. I still got feeling in my toes.
My
So-
goodness.
Oh, Levy decided to go ahead and finally touch my board. He's
Getting you on
"Stop
track,
talking about
Tate."
that." Shout out Damo. In a redraft league, drop McLaurin for Deontay Johnson. Is that a good move? I think it's a little premature to cut bait with McLaurin, who's been very good all season long. I respect and like Deontay Johnson, and if it's not a deep league and you have a small bench and you have to make decisions like this, I understand why you would want to bring on Deontay Johnson. He's been playing very good football, and I certainly like what I've seen from Mason Rudolph. I just think McLaurin's been so damn good on a really bad team that I still think they're going to be throwing all the time, playing from behind, even though they are competing. I think it was a little premature to drop McLaurin.
I agree 100%. I'm not dropping Scary Terry.
No, that's not his name.
The Terrier.
That's what the kids are calling him, man.
I don't give a damn what the kids are calling him. That's
The,
not
kid,
what
the
I'm
kids
calling.
can call him whatever they want. I'm going to be a man about it. Call him the Terrier.
Bucky, what's your thought on this, though?
No, I would not have dropped McLaurin, honestly. I think Deontay Johnson had a very good game. He flashed his skill set, but I think McLaurin is in a better situation moving forward than Deontay Johnson is personally.
Deontay Johnson is silky smooth when it comes to route running, and he's elusive after the catch. I see the potential with him. For everything I just said about Deontay Johnson, McLaurin's been doing it all year, regardless who's ever been under center. So that's why it's a little bit tough. But I can see the logic behind it, though, Damo. I'm not hating. Bucks are going to shut down Chris Carson. Dude, they've been shutting down running back ones all season.
Yep.
I mean, they played against almost every single elite back in the NFL, and they've done a pretty damn good job on him, and they got JPP back.
I just don't have the balls to bench Chris Carson in that scenario.
I don't want to either. I mean, my answer proves that it. I just don't want to. I don't want to drop or put Chris Carson on my bench for Mark Walton. No disrespect to Walton, but of course, Corey, we got your back. Speaking of got your back, the Crawdad.
Crawl?
A craw sighting.
Yes. Hello. Hello, fellow.
He must be hiding in the bathroom to access the internet so his wife doesn't get mad at him.
Oh, that's a low blow, Levy. You take that right back.
Ooh, come on,
I'm just kidding.
man.
I love you, Cross.
You
I
take
love
that
that.
back. We all know he's in his garage right now.
Come on. Fair play.
Crawl, you got any questions? Put them out there for the people, my
Of
man.
course, brother. Of course. Damo, mom's dinner, tater tots. Taters. I like taters.
I love it.
I got some taters the other day with what is it? Truffle tots, they called them.
Ooh, those are good.
I've never had them before. It was my first experience. It was.
I don't like the truffle flavor, to be quite honest with you.
I
And
like
it might be that I'm an everyman. I like my Miller Lights. I like dill pickles. Only dill pickles. And they need to be the Spears. Very simple in my tastes. So I think that might factor in. I can't handle the elegance that is truffle.
I like truffle, man. It's good. I'm not trifling. I'm truffling all over the place.
I'm into the
I'm
truffle.
sorry. I've had better ones before. So
Yeah,
BG,
yeah.
yeah, I get it. 50 pizza rolls. Is that uncommon? I thought that whenever you just have pizza rolls, it's common to just dive in, fully commit.
I think most people go with the the recommended serving size, which I believe is 12 pizza rolls.
I think it's a 12-pack is normal.
Yeah. 50 is absurd, Tate. And the fact that your stomach can handle that is impressive in and of itself.
I've done 90 in one sitting. That was back in high school.
Oh my goodness, Tate.
Wow. I need to see this. Over Christmas break, I am going to put you to the test.
Well, I will say that I didn't do that sober. This was 50 my alter ego was on autopilot.
I'm just thinking about the method of putting 50 separate pieces of food into my mouth, like over and over again. They're probably piping hot, so you burn the roof of your mouth. All that's tough, Tate. Like you must have just the toughest mouth in the South.
50 reps, man. That's why do you think the cannons still have some definition left after 50 pizza rolls, man? Just Ultimate reps, one after another. I'm always right-handed too when I eat. If I break my right hand, I'm screwed.
The
I'm gonna lose
cannons.
a lot of weight.
The Tate cannons, the heralded cannons from Derek Tate.
No, not the heralded ones are from Pat Tate. But anyway, as we move on, Jesse Torres, thank you for joining us. Darren Waller or Hunter Henry in a PPR format. Darren Waller has been fantastic this year. As much as Hunter Henry had a nice comeback game on, I think it was Sunday Night Football with 2 touchdowns. I think it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm still going to go with Darren Waller. He's the number. I mean, he's right there when Tyrell Williams is even healthy as like the 1A and 1B options in the passing attack. So for me, it's Darren Waller.
Darren Waller.
Waller all day.
Undoubtedly.
Unquestionably. Moving
Indubitably. Undoubtedly.
Braden Robertson, my mom is dying to y'all's dinner's answers.
Yeah, no, I mean, beef stroganoff, Braden. Your mom, she's probably a fine cook. I hope that she puts forth the effort on this. I think it's a Betty Crocker recipe, to be honest with you. Check that out.
Mrs. Robinson.
Shout out Miss Crocker.
Robertson, my bad.
But if mom wants to take the night off, pizza rolls is the answer, baby.
Well, no, she wants to make supper for young Braden. Let her do that. And I think that the meal I propose is very simple and elegant in nature. It's also light. Beef stroganoff, despite the cream base, is a light dish. It's delectable.
So BG saying that eating 50
it's not
common.
Yeah, I don't, I'm happy he chimed in because I feel like I'm talking to a crazy person.
It's crazy, baby. Jesse Torres, another question real quick. Shady McCoy or Devin Singletary in a standard? Kind of interesting. I mean, do you think there's going to be any, I don't know, ripple effect from McCoy essentially getting benched for the fumble against the Packers?
The fumble was bad.
It was gross.
Really bad. However, these guys are very close. I'm still going LaShawn McCoy because it just seems like there's some part of the game that Singletary's not picking up, and we're just not giving him the chances that I think he deserves at this point.
What part? I don't understand. Anyway, I don't want to try to figure it out. I'm going to go with what the information that I've been presented so far for these players when they're active. And for me, it is Shady McCoy is the answer. So, Levy?
Yeah, I want to say Singletary because I like the matchup, but not enough touches for me. So I'm going to go Shady McCoy.
Cool. Luke! And I'm going to let you take a stab at it. I think it's Rosenquist.
Spot on, Tate.
Rosenquist. Yes. I want to say Rosenquist. Amendola. Devontae Parker or McLaurin. I mean, I don't want to trash the fact that Devontae Parker is in the conversation. I'm not going with Danny Amendola. For me, it's McLaurin. I know he had a bad week last week. I get it. And if they're moving forward with Dwayne Haskins, I mean, they did play together at Ohio State. I'm not saying that it's going to translate to the NFL, but, I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt, even though I do think Dwayne Haskins is going to struggle. For me, it's Terry McLaurin.
Man, Dwayne Haskins really stinks, but I hope he gets it together today.
Man, come on, dude. He's a rookie in a terrible situation.
That pick was just as bad as Josh Rosen the year prior. I'm sorry, but I did not love the Dwayne Haskins pick at all. I almost want to say Devontae Parker here. Amendola's out for me, so it's between Parker and McLaurin. I am gonna go with Devontae Parker against the Jets. So it's a pretty good matchup. It's a better matchup than McLaurin's got, that's for sure. So I'm going to go Devontae Parker. He's been pretty consistent.
I'm going Danny Amendola. Post heartbreak.
So
the house is divided.
The house is definitely divided. We've all given him a different answer. Sorry, Lukey.
I like Danny Amendola today. I've liked Danny Amendola. Has been just somebody everybody's sleeping on, and he's constantly getting targets.
Speaking of players people are sleeping on, we got a Cole Beasley question. Cole Beasley, DK Metcalf, or Alshon Jeffrey needs to start 2. Does BG? I'm going DK Metcalf against the Bucks. That's unquestionably. I'm still going to go Alshon Jeffrey.
I'm going to go Metcalf and Beasley.
Metcalf
Bears win today. Sorry, BG.
You're rolling with the Bear or rolling with the Bears today.
Well, let's actually talk on Beasley for a minute. I mean, Beasley is a guy who he came out initially. He had a pretty decent fantasy game his first week out. Then he was a little bit uninvolved, but over the last 3 games, they've really worked him in, and he's been somebody that's heavily targeted. I think he was double-digit targets last 2 games.
Over the last 3 games, he's got a total of 9 passes as a slot receiver.
I'm talking about targets, Tate.
I don't give a damn about targets.
I do.
I'm not not in all scenarios. I mean, Beasley's he's a slot player. Of course, he's going to see a decent amount of targets. He's essentially the guy that is the check down or the hot read option in most situations for Josh Allen. And Allen is. I don't trust Josh Allen right now. That also weighs into my decision.
Sure.
Who do I trust more? Do I trust Josh Allen or Carson Wentz?
Carson.
So that's a big part of it too. I mean, I know that he's facing off against the Bears today, and the Bears are in a must-win situation, and the Bears defense from top to bottom is loaded. What is Beasley? He hasn't topped 50 yards in any of the last 3 games.
I like his involvement.
He's what he's done is he's scored a touchdown in the last 2 weeks. That's the only thing that has even made his fantasy output even mildly relevant. No.
Okay. No. You make a good argument. For me, Alshon Jeffrey has similar problems.
Varun, what up, dude? And then, of course, Jesse Torres has a couple more questions. Flex, Tyrell Williams, Robbie Anderson, Michael Gallup, DJ Moore in a standard format. Come on, boys. Gotta say something.
DJ Moore.
Yeah, I want to go DJ Moore, but I like a lot of these guys actually this week. I'm going to go DJ Moore. I think the Panthers play well today.
I'm going to go Robbie Anderson.
That was my second choice.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rude Bob. I mean, it's nothing against Tyrell Williams either, which, by the way, it's tough. It's really a tough coin flip between Tyrell Williams and Robbie Anderson for me. Nothing against Michael Gallup or DJ Moore, but I feel as if Sam Darnold has been playing very poorly over the last 2 weeks. Has to bounce back. He has a cupcake matchup today. I think Rude Boy Bob gets himself one.
Well, he's not Rude Boy Bob. Rude Boy Bob is Robert Woods as opposed to Bob Anderson. It's hard to keep up with the Bobs, but it's a job we have to do.
I'm going to enjoy watching you score, Mr. Anderson. Jesse Torres, another question. John Brown.
There is no spoon.
Excuse me?
There is no spoon.
Oh, nice. Another Matrix reference. John Brown, Tyrell Williams, Hunter Henry, or Ty Johnson in a PPR. By the way, Trey Carson just got put on IR as well, so the Lions went ahead and scooped up Paul Perkins.
Great.
Small bit of information.
Back from the dead, Paulie P.
The Lions are
UCLA's greatest. UCLA's favorite son.
You think they wish they would have held on to CJ Anderson, maybe?
Right? They could have brought him back, I guess.
He's still good, but they're just.
He's probably put on another 20
pounds. Rather roll with Paul Perkins.
I'm going to go Tyrell Williams here.
It's PPR. I'm actually going to go Ty Johnson. I think he scores this week. I think he bounces back.
Okay. Yeah, Trey Carson, that was very surprising. Yesterday, he got shelved, right?
Yeah.
Kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, it felt like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's not like we saw anything, devastating happen in the game on Sunday where he saw 12 carries, but I digress. I'm going to go Tyrell Williams given these options. Although it is tough between him and Ty Johnson, and John Brown's been unspectacularly reliable, I suppose, in the passing attack for the Bills. Varun, PPR, pick one. Singletary, AP, Devontae Parker, or Preston Williams.
AP.
Ooh. You like the matchup though for AP Buck?
I don't. I just know that ever since Gruden's out, they've put the emphasis on Adrian Peterson. He has 275 yards over the last 3 games. That means he's getting touches. He's getting looks. They're setting him up to be kind of the engine that runs the offense. It's AP for me, regardless of matchup.
Yeah, requisite touches, Buck.
I stick to it, man. I'm like a ruler, inch by inch.
Yeah, I'll go AP in this scenario too.
And that's a standard collegiate ruler, college ruler, not a like a ruler of a nation, just a ruler that you would use to measure and such.
Well, I mean,
You're pretty confused over that.
Well, I mean, you're asking me fancy questions, and then we bring rulers into the equation. Now it makes my mind go into a different direction. Point being, we've got what? Adrian Peterson, who doesn't catch passes, right?
Correct.
Can we say that it's a PPR format, right?
Correct. You're going to go with Preston Williams.
No, I'm going to go with Devin Singletary. Didn't he catch a touchdown pass last week?
Yep.
He's got the best matchup.
Going Singletary.
All right.
Who are you going, Levy?
I followed you and went with AP.
I just think AP requisite touches, man.
Dab Wizard. So he's got a question. Who could eat 90 pizza rolls the fastest? Andy Reid or Matt Patricia? First off, I'm a little offended that I'm not involved in this question because
you are.
I actually did accomplish that feat. But I do understand that they're both NFL head coaches and I am not.
Well, Dab added or Tate to the next line item. He's like me when I text. I never text anything in one singular message. I break everything out into like 4 or 5. I've been told it drives certain people crazy, but I like it. It keeps my thoughts organized.
So, okay, given all 3 of your options, boys, I'm going to sit this one out because my answer is biased.
For me, it's Andy Reid. It'll always be Andy Reid.
I'll actually take Tate over Reid in this scenario. I just think the speed, Tate can put him down a little faster.
I've seen Tate when he's in that I won't call it like a drunken mode, but when he's had his fill and he has this eye of the tiger going on with his food, like he's looking at a mortal enemy when he looks at his food. That's when Tate kicks it into high gear. I would think if Tate's involved, I'll take Tate over both Reid and Patricia. Just purely stamina based. I think Tate gets a notion in his brain and he has to just dull that blade completely. So he's going to just hammer that thing until all 90 are gone. He's going to be in a coma for a couple of weeks. It's going to be a big thing. We're going to have a funeral, but then he's going to come back to life once he finishes the 90, because over 30-year-old man consuming 90 pizza rolls in one sitting should kill you. I mean, that's science.
Right.
Well, I'm glad to hear that it won't. CJ Chav, and I could prove it. PJ Williams or Mecole Hardman. PJ.
Preston?
I'm assuming it's Preston, and I would love to know what his middle name is if he goes by PJ.
I'll go Williams over Hardman.
If it's Preston Williams, I actually like Preston Williams this week.
I'm going Preston Williams as well.
For sure.
Now I need to Google PJ Williams.
Yeah, I don't know who PJ Williams is either, but I'm assuming it's Preston. Maybe that's what he goes by.
Oh, PJ Williams is a cornerback. Plays for the Saints from Florida State, believe it or not.
IDP league, baby. Let's go.
I feel like we're off today. The people are off. These questions are wacky. PJ? Preston.
It's got to be daylight savings time. I mean, we don't have as many people in. The live stream is normal. We're getting PJ Williams questions.
I like Preston Williams. I have him starting in one of my lineups this week.
Yeah, I mean, Preston Williams, I'm assuming Preston is the guy. I'm going to take him over Hardman. But if your choice is Hardman or a corner, then I'm going Hardman, for obvious reasons. Jesse Torres, Mark Andrews, or Cameron Brate? Haven't gotten a Cameron Brate question.
Andrews.
Yeah,
hate the matchup, but he's going to get targeted.
I'd still rather go Andrews over Brate.
Same. I love some Cam Brate, but yeah, I'm going Andrews.
Tim Westby, Standard League. David Montgomery, Jalen Samuel. Connor is inactive, of course. So it's Montgomery or Samuels, guys.
I'm going to go Montgomery. I don't love the Jalen Samuels matchup.
I like Montgomery as well here. This is a tough one. Very, very tough. But last week had to be the true sample of what we're going to see moving forward. It has to be the recipe for success for that offense. Give me Montgomery.
I am going to go with Jalen Samuels, actually. As much as Montgomery had a great week last week, Philadelphia, even though they've been a little inconsistent against or stopping opposing running games, they've still got a pretty stout unit up front in their front seven. So with an offense that can't seem to find an identity or show any sort of consistency in what their week-to-week game plan is, I'm going to go ahead and steer away from that Chicago offense. And Samuels can catch the ball out of the backfield, and there's no one else to really to push him or challenge him to get him off the field this week. So for me, it's Samuels.
Fair enough.
And another question from Timmy. Standard scoring: John Brown, Metcalf, Golden Tate, Amendola, or Djax. Djax is someone that is going to be a game time decision today. Certainly worth. I mean, what we saw him do in week 1. I mean, that's pretty much what we can go off of. So, thoughts on these options?
Yeah, Djax is out for me. I need to see
I like
it.
Metcalf.
Yes, Metcalf's a must start.
Scored 2 touchdowns last week on 3 receptions? Not very many yards. Bucks secondary.
He's sweet. I like him.
That wide receiver trio there in Seattle just got a little bit dangerous.
The
For me, it's John Brown and Metcalf.
Same.
If you need 2 of them, then it's for me. I want to consider Golden Tate, but I am going to go John Brown and Metcalf.
Yeah, I agree. Can we talk about the Seattle receiving core now? Tate, give us your thoughts on that.
So I think when looking at Josh Gordon as a New England Patriot, I thought he was able to create separation down the field still. I mean, most people are saying, oh, he's not what he was physically back when he had his breakout year in 2012. That's fine if you don't think that Josh Gordon is the same player because he didn't really reach his high ceiling there with New England. But tell me, what deep threat has even been remotely productive under Tom Brady over the last 3 or 4 years? I think Brady has become a bit of a game manager, and that's fine. They win football games. That's all that matters. But Gordon didn't live up to his potential there in New England strictly because Brady is a different type of quarterback now. He's not pushing the ball down the field all that often. And even when he did, there was plenty of times when he actually missed Gordon where he was wide open that would have been walk-in touchdowns. So I think it's a great fit for Gordon going with one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL and Russell Wilson. Now you can move Tyler Lockett all over the formation. You got 2, just physical specimens in DK Metcalf and Josh Gordon. I think it helps Russell Wilson more than it helps anybody else.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think Russell Wilson's the best quarterback in the league right now. So I love the move for Seattle.
I agree. It's a good move for all parties involved. They needed some help.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about. Yeah, never mind. I'm not even.
What are you a little concerned about?
Just Josh Gordon living in Washington, man. It's a dangerous thing.
Oh man, I think he'll be okay there.
I hope.
I don't get where you're going with this.
Certain things are legal there.
It's just a dangerous situation, man, in the state of Washington.
Oh, okay.
Temptation is a problem. Hey, let's move on though. Braden's got another question.
Was legal in Massachusetts as well, by the way.
True.
Yeah.
But he was playing for Coach Bill.
Yeah, well,
Coach Bill had him.
I think Bill is cooler than you think, my man. I think Bill is cooler than you know.
Just say the words Lawrence Taylor and watch him smile. It's the only thing that makes him smile is when you say the name Lawrence Taylor.
Right.
All right, we got a question here from Braden. Josh Allen or Matt Stafford? It's Matt Stafford this week. Great matchup against Oakland.
Yeah, I'm going Matty Staff. Big game.
Oh, the Staff piece. Staff piece is, by the way, he's the top 10 quarterback right now in fantasy formats. So I love what Matt Stafford's done this year. For the first time last year, he looked like he was human, but now he's back to being the guy that's throwing the ball over the yard. It's Staff piece. JP Covers. Thanks for joining us. Melvin Gordon, Ty Johnson, or Sterling Shepard at flex?
It's Melvin Gordon for me.
JP, is this PPR? If it is, I'm still going Gordon, but Shepard would get a little bit of a look for me.
I'm going Melvin Gordon, given the options.
Yeah.
I really against Oakland too. I'm actually considering Ty Johnson. I mean, again, the one guy that led the team in carries last week is no longer on the roster. So you would think somebody has to carry the ball there in Detroit. But it's a standard format. Standard. So it's for me, it's the old Gore piece.
Yeah, it's still Gordy.
Yep.
And we're gonna have our mild, medium, and hot picks coming your way in what, 5 minutes?
5 minutes, sir.
5 minutes.
I got to tell you, I'm disappointed with the
hot picks over there, pal.
Yes, I am disappointed with Gardner Minshew's performance today. Really not a great performance, man. I hope he sneaks one in here in the fourth quarter.
Actually, Gardner Minshew is one of the guys that got a game ball on the go route. I mean,
he's great, but not today.
Would you have ever would you, even with Nick Foles, would you have expected the Jacksonville Jaguars to be 4-4 at this point in the season? Maybe. You could see possibly, right? But if I would have told you that he went down in week 1 and a rookie had to take over a quarterback, would you have ever guessed they would be 4-4?
A 6th round draft pick rookie? No.
No, hell no. Minshew mania is real, boys.
He's a good player. He's a good player. I like him. Big win for Houston today, though. I mean, this is a huge game in the division.
Mark Barlow, thanks for joining us, man. Miss you, brother. Danny Amendola or Sammy Watkins?
Daniel Amendola.
I'm actually going Danny Amendola, too. I hate to say it, but yeah, I'm going Amendola.
We know Bucky is not an advocate of the glass man, also known as Sammy Watkins. I'm going with Matt Moore probably starting again. I mean, I know that it hasn't been official that Mahomes is out yet, at least not to my knowledge. Amendola is the easy start for me with Matt Moore under center, even though I thought Matt Moore played pretty well last week. So, Eric Fala, thanks for joining us. I think of Walton as a not so popular version of Mixon, decent back on a crappy team. I mean, I understand that they're both on respectively horrible teams, but if you're to tell me who he's a poor man's Joe Mixon, given his situation, because Mixon is I think a top 5 talented back in this league as far as pure physical traits and pure physical ability, and even some of like the other intangible measurables that you can go ahead and take a look at. I think that his running style, similar to Le'Veon Bell's, in that he's very patient, picks his spots. That doesn't work when you're playing behind one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. You can't do that. So it's a match made in hell right now for Joe Mixon.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of what we can expect from Walton, I think 10 points per game is fair. Requisite touches.
In a PPR format, with no Kenyon Drake in the mix, he'll probably catch 2 to 4 passes a game, which will do a little bit of give him a floor, I guess. And I don't know if I'd expect 10 per game, though, in that offense.
I'm not expecting 10 for Mark Walton the game. I'm just not. Balaj is going to factor in. It's going to be one of those situations where you just don't know week to week who's going to get the touches near the goal line. I don't see nearly enough offensive productivity from anybody else on that squad. So yes, like the theory is there's nothing else. So of course that results in points, but in reality, that's not true, right? A bad team is still a bad team. And you can have good players, but the fact is, I don't think Mark Walton is that good of a player.
No.
So I don't see it as really a bountiful fantasy option at this point.
By the way,
sorry, God.
No, I was just going to say, wasn't it great to see Kenyon Drake used the way he should be?
Right? After 3 days of practice with the team?
It's unbelievable. Give the guy the ball and watch what he does with it. Like, come on.
He's good, and he's so flashy out of the backfield catching the ball.
Well, it just – I don't understand it. Miami, no matter who's coaching, just a dumpster fire down there.
It's a joke. Bring back Joe Philbin.
I mean, I said on, I think it was the fantasy debate, to stay the hell away from Kenyon Drake this week because I didn't think he'd be up to speed enough to be able to make any sort of significant impact.
Joe Philbin.
What, 2 days of practice? 2. And he balled out. I was wrong. I was definitely wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. I don't like saying the word wrong that many times in a short amount of time because Normally, I feel like I'm right, but
Tate, you were going to say something about Mark Walton. You love him?
no, I think he's a better. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a good player. I think there's a reason why he's getting carries over the likes. I mean, granted, Kalen Balazs has been awful this year, but I thought that the reason why they were giving Walton more looks than Kenyon Drake down the stretch was, one, they wanted to get Kenyon Drake out of town and get something in return for him. But Walton's playing pretty well.
Why get rid of him?
I don't know.
He's good. We knew he was good.
Any player that's been good has been jettisoned off the roster at some point this year for the Miami Dolphins.
Like I get, but he's not a high cost guy. Like that's the thing that just doesn't really add up for me.
We got another question. Tim Westby,
Thanks,
PPR pick 3: Juju, Josh Jacobs, Tyrell Williams, John Brown, Gallup. He said he's a little worried about Juju Smith-Schuster.
Jacobs is in.
Yes, Jacobs is a must start of those.
I'm still going to go with Juju.
It's either Juju or Tyrell for me out of that group. But Juju, of course, takes the reins there.
All right, so we're going Jacobs, Juju. Who's the third?
I'm going Tyrell.
Oh, it's a pick 3?
Yeah.
Pick 3.
Oh my! I didn't realize we were playing the lottery over here. Yeah, I like Tyrell. Like I said, it was between Juju and Tyrell for me, so I like both those guys.
Yeah, I agree.
I like these options though, Tim. You got good options there, pal.
The Dolphins make no sense at all. Truer words never spoken, my friend.
Yeah, this is it's a whirlwind of emotions down there in Miami, and no one cares. They're at the beach. They're stuck in traffic on 95. You ever been on 95? Terrible road.
Yeah, it's not great.
It makes Tampa seem like just this pristine metropolis. I was trying to say metropole. Metropolis.
You could definitely say Metropolis. It works too. But no, the Dolphins. There's going to be a 30 for 30 on this season for the Miami Dolphins if they go winless, like 10 years down the road.
Right.
It's how bad this team is. How they, as an organization, decided preseason that they wanted to go ahead and just blow it up. They traded Laramie Tunsil before the season. I mean, granted, they got a haul for him, but I mean, talk about not even giving the quarterback that you just traded for and Josh Rosen even a mild opportunity to somewhat be successful, right?
That just doesn't make sense. I couldn't say it better myself, Tim.
Yeah, I-95 in Miami. I've had a lot of experiences. Like I lived on the West Coast, driven through LA several times. Not fun. Like the 405 is basically hell on earth, but 95 is just as bad. And I think the reason is on 95, at least like around Miami, South Florida, if you're not going 90, you're getting sped around. And it's just nuts. Like it's absolutely nuts to be driving 78, which is my preferred freeway driving speed, and just have people blowing by you at like 90, 95 miles an hour on 95. Terrible time. I can't stand it down there. In my opinion, just let's make it its own like census region and just exclude it from the greater state of Florida, because it's not Florida. It's totally different. Tampa till I die.
Does I-95 go through Washington, D.C.?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it goes directly through D.C. per se, but 95 is the basic artery that goes along the eastern seaboard, Tate, along the Atlantic Ocean.
Right. I haven't spent a lot of time on the East Coast. My travels have not really brought me along the eastern seaboard very often.
Yeah, just next time you go to the Outer Banks there in North Carolina, make sure you get one of those circle or oval stickers that says OBX, so everyone knows you went to Ocean Beach, North Carolina. Perfect. Or the Outer Banks, sorry.
Tater, I need to know, do the Bucks have a chance to win today?
Of course the Bucks have a chance.
Come on, Tate.
How can you have a chance?
Look, they didn't once upon a time. They smack around the defending NFC champion Los Angeles Rams. I mean, the Bucks are a team that have the talent on offense to give anybody problems. They do. I mean, you can say whatever you want about Jameis Winston, and I certainly, don't want him to be the future of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because I've seen enough. Personally, I'm ready to cash out on Jameis Winston. And by cashing out, I mean saving cash by not giving him and resetting the quarterback market with Jameis Winston. So that's me personally. I do think that they have a chance, though. I mean, could Jameis Winston have one of those, games where Winston looks like the guy? Absolutely. So it's just going to be against Russell Wilson and company, which I think it's going to be Russell Wilson and company that comes out on top. But to say that they have no chance is just not true.
Fair enough. All right. So we got Ashley joining us, Tater. Bring her in for the mild, medium, and hot picks.
All right, Ashley, we've got you on the microphone. We've got your mild, medium, hot picks. What do you got for the week?
All right. So for the mild pick, we have Jalen Samuels, 4,000. There's no James Conner, no Benny Snell. Opportunity knocks, not the greatest matchup against the Colts, but the touches will be there. For the medium, we have Tyler Lockett at 7,500 versus the Bucks. 4 more catches in 7 of 8 games this year. Juicy matchup against the Bucks secondary, and Wilson is playing at an elite level. If Lockett is too expensive, we love DK Metcalf too. And lastly, for the hot pick, we have Lev Bell at 7,700 at Miami. If there's ever a time for Lev Bell to get going, it's today against the Dolphins. Set it and forget it.
I'm going to go ahead and say ring my bell. Ring my bell. Give the ball to Le'Veon Bell today, please. I have 100% agree with that, Ashley. 100%.
Perfect.
Great picks, Ashley.
Thank you very much,
you.
Ashley, for joining us. Mild, medium, hot picks. Can you tell us a little bit about like the Hooters calendars and stuff like that are for sale right now?
Yes, we do have the Hooters calendars for sale. You guys can come in and get those. It does come with coupons. So,
ooh,
it's like $100 worth of coupons.
Coupons?
Like
How do you say it?
$150 worth of coupons. And if you guys want, you can buy them and send them to the troops.
There we go.
Ooh, very nice. All right, Ashley, thank you so much for joining us. That was another edition of the Mild, Medium, Hot Picks. Yeah, we went ahead and said goodbye to Ashley. Bye, Ashley. Levy, don't touch my board.
I didn't touch it. She signed off.
You did it. Anyway, point is, and we got Bucky back. I mean, Bucky, we're jumping on for Ashley. Thanks for subbing in today, Buck.
Yep, absolutely, man.
All right, so we got Garrett Pepin. Is it? I'm assuming it's Pepin. There's not a double P in there.
It's Pepin.
Pepin. Okay. Jets or Titans defense today, boys?
Jets defense going up against the Dolphins.
Levy, yeah, you got to turn on the brightness. So you almost look like the anonymous man talking a little fantasy football if you sit too far back in your chair.
Yeah, sorry about that. I will also go Jets defense.
I'm going to go Jets. Jets defense. It's unanimous. Eric, Chicago pizza or New York pizza? I think this is easy. Nothing. I mean, I lived in Chicago. Levy, we both lived in Chicago. I think it's easy. It's New York pizza. I'm more of a thin crust type guy.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Chicago pizza is completely overrated.
I just don't like having to wait for like nearly an hour for them to deliver your pie.
Oh, if you're talking delivery or just even sitting
no. When you're in the it's good. Like it is good. The problem is I'm like a binge eater with pizza.
Yeah,
I like just scarfing a whole bunch of it. The thing is with Chicago, you can just have like one slice in your stuff. That's not fun to me.
No,
I like having fun.
Either.
No, and like sitting there for like 45 minutes to an hour waiting for the pizza to arrive.
And that's when you're in the restaurant. Like you wait for 45 minutes to an hour just for it to be delivered. It's crazy.
Yeah.
100% agree with that. Also, during that period of time, if you're at a restaurant sitting there waiting for it, more than likely you have bread or some sort of appetizer in front of you, which means you're filling up on something.
Beer, a lot of it.
Yeah, you can do a lot of damage in 45
You
minutes.
want to know the quotas I can hit in an hour? Let's test it.
All right, we got another question from Dab Wizard. I've got my kicker, my wide receiver one, and tight end all on bye week in one league. That's very rough. Trade Winston to Miami.
That would be a terrible thing to do to him, but do it.
You feel bad for Jameis Winston at this point?
No, he's making $20 million a year. What's to feel bad about?
Exactly. And Mahomes is questionable. So, I mean, and we were mentioning this earlier when we were talking about some of the Chiefs pass catchers. I believe it was the glass man, Sammy Watkins himself, that we were debating whether we want to have him in our lineup. Guys, I think it would be stupid to bring back Mahomes if he's anything less than 100%. And I just feel as if he's been questionable this week, you play it safe with your franchise quarterback, right?
Yeah, you're not going to risk it all. I think I mentioned this on Talking Tottenham this week. It's like the when you about to risk it all meme. You don't need to risk it all with Pat Mahomes in this scenario. Like when he's fully healthy, when he's ready to go, put him in there. Otherwise, you got to keep him on the bench because with Mahomes out, honestly, it's a major hit. There's no doubt about that. But you got to think about playoffs here, right? Like you got to think about winning that division and going through the end run of this season with Patty Mahomes fully healthy. You put him out there and he's still got knee issue with that dislocated kneecap. I'm sorry, but that's going to shelve him for a lot longer than it should. So keep him out. There's no need to rush him back.
Well, plus their division stinks. They don't need him. They don't need him to play this week. I don't think they're going to win, but without him this week. But
the Raiders are sitting in second place in the division right now, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, you're right. This division, I feel like they can let him sit this week and another week. And not to mention, I don't know about Matt Moore because I've seen him have a good game or two and then absolutely lay an egg during his entire NFL career. But I thought he played very, very well against the Green Bay Packers last week. And the Packers are one of the best teams in football right now. So I think that they can get by without Patrick Mahomes for at least another week. Make sure he's healthy. If there's any sort of doubt, then you border on the side of caution with your franchise quarterback and a league caliber MVP type player. So
Tate, confirmed. The Raiders are in second place in the AFC West with a 3-4 record.
Yeah.
It's the John Gruden magic.
Oh man, unbelievable.
So Shane King, if the decision's between Bucky or Ashley. By the way, Ashley did a fantastic job.
She crushed it.
I'm going Ashley.
Yeah, I like her mild, medium, and hot picks better than Bucky's.
I don't have any mild, medium, or hot. I'm mild. Like I am terminally mild.
Misamar. What's up, Misamar?
Oh, my guy.
Oh, okay. So you're going Misa, one of the OG commenters from last year on our live show. What's up, Misa? Half point PPR, McLaurin, Ty Johnson, Sterling Shepard. We got to pick one for flex.
Sterling Shepard and a PPR. Half point.
Ty Johnson. He's finding the end zone today. Let's go.
Well, how much hate is there for Terry McLaurin? Terry McLaurin, guys. I mean, prior to last week, he was a top 15 wide receiver.
Trey White.
I don't like the matchup. I'm with Bucky on this.
Tre'Davious White.
Oh, you abbreviated his first name. Tre'Davious White. Got to go with the full name, man. You start throwing nicknames in there.
Since when have I ever called anyone their full, like Melvin Gord piece?
That's actually very true. Good
Eck piece. Jackie Doyle. That's the only full name.
I mean, if you were to call me, what would be my nickname according to your book? Just Tater or the Derek Tate piece? The D Tate piece? The D.
Nah, I don't like Tate piece. That just sounds weird.
It's just Tater.
It's Tater.
All right, fair enough. So right now we're all caught up on questions, which normally we have to have Levy sub in for taking the board because I'm going too slow and we're rattling them off. But today we've been on point, boys. We've been answering the questions as they flow in.
It's just been slow out there, man. I think it's daylight savings time.
I think everybody's messed up. Tottenham's playing. Oh boy.
You know, I was watching football at 6:30 this morning. It's weird out there.
It's weird today. We got weird vibes. I wish more people were tuning in, but I'm very happy to have the viewers that we do have on board. Next week should be a little bit more juicy.
It's always going to be juicy here on Fantasy Focus. Whether or not we have, depending on, it doesn't matter because the ones that we do have commenting right now are crushing it. Speaking of Redley Jimenez, hi guys. Thoughts on Cortland Sutton now that we have Brandon Allen under center?
Well, long term. I mean, I like him long term.
I think
long term meaning the next 5 weeks.
I'm thinking for the rest of the season. If you want to, Fredley, if you mean like beyond this season, let us know. But when we're talking about Cortland Sutton for the rest of the year, guys, does it scare you whatsoever that we now have what is probably a third string quarterback? I think Bucky said that he was working part-time somewhere.
Oh, he's a dishwasher. He was at
That's
the
it.
local Perkins.
I'm not playing Cortland Sutton unless I absolutely have to. I mean,
still like him. I still
Why?
like him.
the targets will be there, but how can you trust the quarterback situation?
I can't trust it. But the fact is, you have Cortland Sutton, and he is a talent. He's a talent in the league, and look, these guys are all professionals. It's so easy to say, "Oh, this guy, I don't know who he is. I'm scared of him. Oh God, I'm so terrified." Don't be terrified of what you don't know, of what you don't have any semblance of an understanding of what you're about to see with young Brandon Allen out there chucking the rock. This guy probably has so many chips on his shoulder, he doesn't even have a shoulder anymore. This is a guy who wants to go out there and prove everybody wrong. Cortland Sutton is a talent. I like him, Fredley. You know what? In fact, I love Cortland Sutton moving forward.
Wow. I'd rather have Noah Fant moving forward.
So, well, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you though, Levy. I mean, when we're talking about, oh well, I don't want a player because now they've got a backup quarterback playing. Travis Kelce scored a touchdown last week. How much did it impact Michael Thomas when Teddy Bridgewater took over under center? Did it tank his value? Hell no.
He hasn't been elite.
He's still a top 10 fantasy wide receiver. What are you talking about, dude?
I'm just saying. I mean, Cortland Sutton, I just don't love the situation. I feel like Noah Fant's going to have more value in the next several weeks than Cortland Sutton is because he's going to be dumping it off to Noah Fant.
Noah Fant's had a problem with stone hands this year. I mean, we've had one game all season, one, where Cortland Sutton hasn't topped at least 60 yards receiving. I mean, that's a fantasy floor in a PPR format. That's a reason why he's a top 20 wide receiver right now in PPR formats. Like, again, I wholeheartedly disagree about Cortland Sutton. If you have him, start him. Were you really that bullish on him because Joe Flacco was under center? I mean, yeah, he's a reliable veteran, but he's still produced with Flacco that's been, ho-hum the entire year. I mean, it could go down a little bit, but no Emmanuel Sanders, he's still going to see a ton of targets, guys.
I mean, the targets will be there. I don't hate him. I'm not dropping Cortland Sutton by any means, but if I've got other options, like I'm starting Marvin Jones over Cortland Sutton for sure. That type of scenario.
All right, folks, we got 13 minutes to go here. So get your questions in if you're tuning in. We will do our best to answer each and every single one. We have one here from Tim Westby. Streaming defense, Bills, Cowboys, or Seahawks? For me, it's Bills.
No doubt it's Bills for me.
Bills defense. Yep, 100%.
I'm surprised they're still available on a streaming basis. So,
yeah,
definitely pick them up.
Funny that you brought up Noah Fant, Levy, because our boy Shane King is in a bit of a pinch. So do you like Noah Fant or Jason Witten?
I kind of like Witten still because Dak looks for him in the end zone week in and week out. Tough one for me. I'm gonna go Witten.
I'm gonna go with the rabbit out of the head guy.
Me too.
Jason Witten.
Yeah, give me some Witten, man. I'm going Dak. I'm going with the better quarterback.
That guy must absolutely fire up the troops with his pregame speeches. Can you imagine what they consist of?
I have no idea.
Who, Witten?
Yeah.
I don't think he speaks.
Well,
he barely spoke on Monday Night Football.
That's what I'm saying. Now that he's got all this experience, you can imagine all the just heater one-liners that he comes up with on the fly, like he used to, as the lead analyst for Monday Night Football.
I love the guy.
I do too.
I think he's one of the best in the biz.
He's definitely a Hall of Famer. I just don't know if he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer for me though. Dad, Hawks receiving core is kind of scary now with Flash Gordon. We all kind of agree, and Russell Wilson was already kind of a top fantasy option as it was, right? So now we see him get the likes of Josh Gordon, DK Metcalf seems to be coming along at a nice pace, and of course you got Tyler Lockett, who's reliable. Imagine if they still had Will Dissly, but I mean, I think Russell Wilson is, guys. I think he's going to be the NFL MVP this year. I'm going out on a limb.
It might be Deshaun Watson too. Who knows?
Could be Aaron Rodgers.
Could be Aaron Rodgers.
I like Aaron Rodgers quite a bit right now.
Rodgers is the favorite right now. We talked about this on Bet the Over this week, but it's
definitely scary. Definitely a scary receiving core.
Yeah.
We got Chris. Morning, fellas. What are your thoughts on Thielen this week? I'm having David Johnson nightmares. Who isn't?
What's your other option, Chris?
I mean, I think Thielen may be his other option.
Well, Yeah, but who is he thinking of playing Thielen over? It's not David Johnson.
No, he's saying he's having nightmares in terms of he's going to take one snap and walk off the pitch.
No, I get it.
The
but
field,
I just want to know
sorry,
what the
I'm
other
in
option
soccer mode.
is. I want to know what the other option is.
And he walks off the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, can anybody be blamed? Like, we were going to only use David Johnson in emergency situations, and we see Chase Edmonds have a career day. But yeah, Thielen, I'm fine with Thielen today. I mean, if Thielen's playing, then you feel good about Thielen, and we're well removed from that dud that he put up. I think it was like a 6-yard performance, and then that's when Kirk Cousins went on a tear. So Cousins is playing well. If you have Thielen today, start him with confidence if he is active. So, James, good morning. Hey, Jimmy.
Good morning.
Yeah. On to badass Jimmy Davey. Yeah, once caught a promo on that guy. Don't know about it. Nathan K. Hang on to Zach Ertz. Pats and Seahawks after the bye. He's on the field, but I can't understand why the drop-off in production this year. And D-Jax is back. So, I mean, guys, what is going on with Zach Ertz?
Dallas Goedert's what's going on, buddy?
Right? Yeah, it's an awkward situation, but I'm certainly not dropping Zach Ertz, Nathan. I mean, the tight end position is ugly per usual in fantasy football. I mean, I guess if you got another option out there, like, if you've got Mark Andrews and Zach Ertz on your team, I'm going to start Andrews over Ertz every week at this point until someone tells me otherwise or I see other reason to do so. But I'm not going to drop Zach Ertz.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm not.
No, don't. Nathan, my guy, do not drop Zach Ertz. And it's Zach with an H, I believe, not with a K. That matters. I was almost named Zachary at one point, apparently. I'm glad I'm not Zach.
I didn't know that. What would we call you? We'd still call
exactly.
You
yeah, Buck. But I don't like Zach. I'm glad. Apparently, it was a very contested debate over Matthew and Zachary.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we're on to Shane King and Levy. You can't sell someone on a player and then pull back.
Basically, pull the balding man in his place.
I pulled the Tater / Orlovsky, and I sold the farm on Fant, and then I went with Witten. But I mean, look, I like Fant. I do like him, but I want to see how often he's looked for this week because I'm nervous about the QB situation. But he's not.
I'm not. I'm just not. All right, we have one here. Fredley Andrews. So that's David Andrews or Jonnu Smith. I like this question. I have to go with Andrews, though. I mean, Jonnu Smith, he caught a little bit of that magic buzz last weekend. But what's the big difference between this week and last week?
Yeah, I'm still going to go with
He's not playing the Bucks. It's a big difference.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with Andrews as much as Jonnu Smith.
Oh, I said David Andrews, Mark Andrews.
Yes.
My goodness.
Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going Andrews as well.
Or Mark St. Andrews. Yeah, I'm going Andrews. 100%.
Hi, Kelly.
Kelly. Hi, guys.
Kelly.
Yeah, man.
We must save the baby, Kelly.
Must save the baby, Kelly. Tim Westby. Do you think Kerryon Johnson will be back before the end of the year? No, I don't think he'll be back. There's no – unless – I mean, I thought that the small window and the small chance that the Lions had to make any sort of wild card push has probably come and went now. Maybe if there's still an outside chance of them making the playoffs, they bring him back if he's fully healthy. But if not, they're just going to shelf him.
Kelly.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the situation. Spot on, Tater. I mean, he could be back in week 16 or something like that. But
it's fantasy irrelevant.
Yeah.
So kiss him goodbye.
Kiss him goodbye. Edit 718. What up, fellas? Tough one. Full point PPR pick 2. Eckler, Gordon, or Walton. Man, you got both. You got the entire Charger backfield. Oh, I hate it.
I hate it
every week. God.
This makes me feel uncomfortable.
I feel anxious.
Why do you have both? I'm going
starting
with
both Eckler and Gordon.
Same. I am too.
Yeah. Just because you put yourself in this box, you basically are a prisoner of your own creation. 718.
It's your fault. It's your fault. Eric, Breezes on a bye.
Jesus, I've never seen that. That's great.
I like it.
Yeah, and I have Lamar. Am I in for a rough day? I mean, it's Lamar Jackson. I mean, as much as I am scared that he's playing against, Bill Belichick and a defense that's playing out of this world this season, this is really maybe the first time that this defense is going to be tested. And Lamar Jackson presents all kinds of issues, in fact, different issues than any other quarterback and any other player in the NFL. Not saying that Bill Belichick isn't up to the challenge, but there's nothing. I still feel confident starting Lamar Jackson regardless of matchup.
I feel like your floor is like 14 points with him.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm always fine with that because he's going to get those rushing touches as well. And I mean, his yardage is going to be at least 45, 50 rushing yards each and every game. So that's 5 points.
Yeah, I'm okay with him.
Yeah, I'm fine with him. So don't feel nervous, Eric. You got Breeze, you got your boy Lamar. You're in good shape, pal. Ty Williams.
B was a little late today, but he's here,
late.
baby. He's here, baby. Yeah.
B is usually like our first question of the day.
Yeah.
Like, I love going to B first. It's one of the things that gets me up in the morning. People talk about coffee, their dog, what have you. I don't have a dog and I don't drink coffee. So you know what? I do drink coffee. That's just like for effect. I did quit Red Bull recently, which was a big. Let me tell you something. You let that taurine get a grip of your conscience. It takes control of it.
It does.
The Red Bull with the taurine is bad stuff. Get off the Red Bull, kids. Go to coffee. Things have been a lot better ever since I dropped it about a month ago. I got to admit that. Anyways, I'm going to go with Ty Williams here, my man B.
I'm with you. Ty Williams.
Yeah, same. We're in agreement. Chris, hurting my other flex is TY, and he is out. So we're looking at Alexander Madison, and then I'm assuming Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders, because Emmanuel already played. David Johnson couldn't play, so I'm going to go Miles Sanders.
Same.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders all day in that scenario.
Yeah, if Dalvin Cook was injured, that's a totally different story, but Dalvin's still cooking. So edit 718. I have DJ and Carey. That's rough.
That's rough, man.
Sorry, pal.
Better luck next year, buddy.
All right, we have two more questions, and then we'll wrap up here. We got John Pagurian.
Look at you just crushing that last name.
Well, I'm pretty good at what I do, my man.
Yeah,
Sony Michelle or Jamal? It's Sony Michelle.
Sony Michelle all day for me.
Yeah, Sony.
Jamal Williams has been involved, though.
He has. And they're even – it's weird because they're in this offense, right? They're doing all kinds of those like little tap passes. So they're having Aaron Jones go in motion. They're running simple zones outside, but Jamal Williams is the other back in those two back sets.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still seeing plenty of snaps, of looks, and he's playing good football.
But it's Sony.
It is Sony. All that being said.
This is a great wrap-up question here from Fredley. In order of preference, Blue Chips, Major League, Varsity Blues, and The Sandlot, all sports movies. Blue Chips, I'm telling you what, people sleep on Blue Chips.
Underrated.
Absolutely love Blue Chip. That's the Nick Nolte joint, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With Shaq and Penny Hardaway. Yep.
Oh, man, Blue Chips. Jesus. All right, so everybody out there, here are the definitive rankings. We'll go to Levy first. You need to rank these in order of preference.
This is a tough question.
Very tough.
I'm a baseball guy, so Sandlot's my number one for sure. Number two is Major League. Love that flick. 3, Varsity Blues. 4, Blue Chips for me.
Oh, I think you're sleeping on Blue Chips.
Probably, but those baseball movies, near and dear to my heart.
All right. This is going to be tough for me. Varsity Blues is my number 4, without a doubt. I like elements of Varsity Blues, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like a throwaway high school rebellion type of movie in the end. And I think Mox stinks as a human. Like, I don't like Moxon. I think Moxon represents everything I hate about millennials these days. And this is very pre-millennial. Like, this was 1999. So Varsity Blues, bottom of the barrel. Number 3, I'm going to go Sandlot. And as time has gone on, Sandlot has become, it's still great. However, I think that I prefer like Rookie of the Year. I just do. So Sandlot is a classic. Love it. Then Blue Chips is my number 2. Blue Chips is a phenomenal movie. You need to check that back out, Levy.
All
And
right.
then I got Major League at number 1. I mean, let's be honest with you. Nothing is better than the Wesley Snipes pajama running the 40-yard dash, like straight off a cot. That ruled. Like, there's nothing better than that. Major League is phenomenal. I would have preferred to see Rookie of the Year on here. Rookie of the Year would be my number 1. I think Phil Brickma is basically the songbird of our generation.
Love Brickma. Tater, what's your rank?
Yeah, this is weird. It has 2 baseball movies. And the one representing the sport of football is not my favorite. It's okay. I mean, it has that 10, like it has some like good moments. Don't get me wrong. I don't want your life, Moxon.
Give me some.
But
Remember the Titans.
Moxon's a punk, man. Moxon is a punk. That's my problem with Moxon.
Yeah, when you have a lead character that I don't like, makes it tough to get through the movie.
Yeah, Dawson's Creek, man. Vanderbeek.
Yeah, it's crud. So I'm actually putting Varsity Blues all the way at 4.
Yeah, I'm with you.
To me, I've got Major League at 3, and there's nothing wrong with Major League. It's a good movie. And definitely some quotable one-liners. But
You saying he just couldn't hit a curveball?
It didn't hit a home run for me.
Okay.
Puns intended. Blue Chips rules. I got Blue Chips at 2. Nick Nolte was fantastic in that movie, and it was more than it had its funny moments, but it was real. It had some good stuff. It was a look into collegiate sports that you really don't get that kind of dirty look into it, and it was very well done. But dude, Sandlot's number 1 for me. It's easy. I don't know. I can't believe you prefer Rookie of the Year over Sandlot.
I love Rookie of the Year. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's just something about it. When they take the boat out, they get the boat fired up with the engine for the first time, and it's smoking everywhere. That just reminds me of my youth, man.
I almost prefer Angels in the Outfield over Rookie of the Year. But
Hey, it could happen.
yes, but Eric says, remember the Titans over all of these. I think I agree.
It's a different
100%.
movie. Remember the Titans is not a comedy. Remember the Titans is like an epic drama tale of redemption and cohesion and people coming together as a community. It speaks at a very different level from a different podium to a different audience.
Yes.
And just preaches a different thing. The rest of these were kind of like, funny movies that also had a sports motif going on, in my opinion. Sandlot also has a little bit of a soapbox, but anyways, great questions. I think we have one more from Chris Quintero. I don't want to really answer it, but I guess I will. Devin Singletary or Tyrell Williams. It's Tyrell Williams, and I hate saying that.
If this is for Katie, I'm going Devin Singletary, more upside.
Quake doesn't have Devin Singletary in any of the leagues that I play against him, so I feel comfortable answering the question. I know his lineups top to bottom because he's my arch nemesis, and it's Tyrell Williams. And I'll gladly answer any questions for Katie.
All right. Well, that'll wrap us up. Thank you all for joining. Mighty Ducks, also a very, very good movie there, Fredley. Thank you, everybody, for joining. You can follow us at Fantasy Focus, right, Tate? Wrap us up.
Yeah, at Fantasy Focus. Of course, it's your first time coming across our channel or our live show on YouTube in particular. If you can hit the subscribe button and the like button as well, we really appreciate any and all the support. We're going to be coming back every single Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, the show is brought to you by the original Hooters all the way through the rest of the NFL regular season. And until next time, everybody, later, says the Tater.
Love you guys. See ya.
See ya.